Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the City of Healing, where the city resides within. This is Angela. And I wanted to come forth this morning, this beautiful Thursday morning, to just do a brief share before I go into work. And I wanted to come forth and talk about the concept of never go on a diet. When I studied nutrition and becoming a health coach, it was very imperative that we did not use the word diet, you know, because diet seems such like a temporary word to accomplish a certain goal. And when you are healing yourself, when you are taking good care of yourself and maintaining health, you want the way that you eat to be your way of life. And so I always tell people never go on a diet, never even really say the word diet. And even myself find myself saying it, even though the connotation of what I mean is quite different. But never go on a diet. You know, diets are very temporary to accomplish a particular goal. And you always want to nourish yourself, you know. And I can say I've never really been on a diet ever, you know. Not bragging because I maintain a certain weight or anything like that. But, you know, I've always said, I'm going to nourish myself. This is what I want to eat. This is what I don't want to eat. I'm not going to do anything to say I'm going to lose weight, or even though sometimes that's what happens because that's the way I'm nourishing myself, or what I'm not eating, or what I am eating, or when I am eating it. So I've tried all different types of diets, and I've come, eventually to a type of I said the word, didn't I? I have tried all the ways of eating, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, fasting, water diet, fruitarian diet, and none of them sustain or nourished me as much as just eating intuitively and seeing how it makes me feel. You know, when I did the fruitarian diet, I saw, when we were studying nutrition, how some people it worked for. So I wanted to try it. And if I remember correctly, I tried it for about 2 months, and it really, 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 at first it was really nice because I love fruit. But I ended up rather having several types of yeast infections in my mouth, and it wasn't a good experience. So I decided a fruitarian diet alone would not be the thing for me. And eating just totally raw didn't work for me either. I learned a long time ago, when your gut is not healed or working right, you are not able to digest your food. I give the example of a young patient that I had that had irritable bowel syndrome, and he ate a lot of raw foods, and he consistently uh, ate raw foods. But with ulcerative colitis, when your gut is not healed, when your digestive system is not healed, you are not able to digest your food. So you are not absorbing the minerals and vitamins due to your um, unhealthy digestive system. So, we really have to consider, how healthy are our guts when we're eating these foods, these raw foods. You won't be able to digest it. So, and when he had his bowel movements, and I looked into the toilet, because that's what nurses do, you look at bowel movements, and it was basically just the food that he consumed, because he was not absorbing or digesting the food and having more pain. So he went on a broth diet. The doctors told him, no, actually the doctors didn't tell him, but he discovered himself, when he ate more of a broth soupy diet, his system could tolerate it better, and he felt better. So these are the type of things, when working in the medical field, you notice, but you don't really know or hold that wisdom until like now, So yes, the raw diet did not work well for me, even though it is raw. If you can tolerate it, if your digestive system is great and it's working for you, I, I, I'm for that, 100% for that, but it's not for everybody, honestly. If you have digestive issues, if you have thyroid issues, if you are on certain medications, because leafy vegetables can prevent you from absorbing iodine. Is Gorda generis. I probably messed that word up, but it helps. It makes you have a thyroid problems, and you get goiter because your body is in need of the iodine, and you can't absorb it because of the some of the leafy greens that prevent that. I mean, that's just a known fact that happens. So like I said, I found what works best for me, even though I was a vegetarian for a very long time. Even in my teens, I was a vegetarian off and on, and also in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and somewhat in my 50s as well. But what I found is when I consume, like bone broth and fermented foods, it works best for me when I balance that out. And anyway, I get really bored very easily with most things, but particularly food. I don't consume one thing consistently all the time. I have to switch up. For example, some people say oatmeal is not really good because it's a grain, but I have that a lot sometimes. Sometimes I do intermittent fasting, don't eat anything for breakfast. Sometimes I have egg, but I always make sure that I have whole foods, organic foods as well, or even better, local foods. So, and also it's really good if the food is not in season, if you get food from like Whole Foods and get where they actually freeze the foods when it's in season. That's excellent as well. So these are the types of things that I consider when I talk about food and nutrition, which means not incorporating the word diet, as, Imhotep or Hippocrates, who was a student of Imhotep, and an African scholar, a physician, an excellent man. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food, to heal. And eat to live, not live to eat. These things we have to consider, and not going on diets to accomplish, certain goals. There are different ways of eating. I don't like labeling myself a vegan or vegetarian. That doesn't make me I just don't like labeling myself like that anyway, unless it's apparent, like I am African American or African, I am, a female, but certain things that I choose to place upon myself, I don't want to label myself as such. But just eat to live, nourish yourself, and eat, see what works for you. As I mentioned, every way to eat doesn't work for everybody. I discovered that myself, and I'm still learning, I'm sure. Even though I studied nutrition, I know some about nutrition. I still study it and learn. I still study myself and see what works best for me. So I'll suggest that you all do the same and don't feel obligated to eat a certain way. Some people say don't eat meat because, it's living. But my philosophy is that everything is living. It really is, just because it doesn't bleed like you do, as my son said, doesn't mean that it's not living. So indeed, everything that we eat is alive until you cook it. And we are in basically a circle of life, and we're basically eating each other anyway. Everything Mother Nature is not vegan. Mother Nature is not vegetarian. She consumes everything, even us. That's why she's still here. Anyway, I just wanted to come forth and share that. And don't feel guilty or obligated to eat any certain way. Whatever works best for your body, whatever makes your body happy, whatever makes you happy, do it. But don't go on a diet. Anyway, thanks for visiting the city, and I hope you all have a marvelous day. Take care.